Now, joining us in the studio here today is Sinead, who is a trustee for the valuable charity Hidden Help. Now, Hidden Help offers support to those most in need, helping vulnerable people create a home for themselves. So, first of all, Sinead, thank you for joining us in the studio and for speaking with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Ross.
Now, the first thing I said to you when you sort of sat down, I was like, you're very calm. It's your first time in the studio, on the TV.
Yeah, well,
it's nice.
Yeah, it's very comfortable here. I can, I'm forgetting I'm on television. It's very, very comfy space you've created here.
That's nice to know. So can you start off? I always like our guests to give a little introduction about themselves and your role. So I've already mentioned you're a trustee, and if you can tell us what that entails.
Well, every charity has to have a board of trustees, so we all bring different skills to the table. So I'm helping Hidden Help with some of their media and some of their sort of campaign type side of work. We basically meet regularly, work out what's going on, work out where we're going, crucially work out what we need to ask the community for. And we've gone from strength to strength, really, particularly in the past couple of years.
Brilliant. And for those that haven't heard of Hidden Help before, can you tell us a little bit about the charity and how it got started?
Yes, well, Hidden Help was started around 15 years ago by our wonderful founder Judy, who's quite a force of nature. She'd seen a similar scheme in Poole and she wondered if it could be brought to Cornwall. So basically, what she saw was a need for furniture and white goods going into places where people just moved into. For example, people fleeing domestic violence, ex-homeless people. People just left the army, and she saw when people getting rid of their furniture, there didn't seem to be a connect between the two. So she started Hidden Help to, first of all, she sold her granny's jewellery, her granny's pearls, which she'd inherited, to buy a van. And that's really where Hidden Help started, was Judy and a van on her own. And Judy, when I first met her, she was single-handedly shoving this washing machine into the back of a van. So yeah, she's very strong, determined, forceful, and since then she's created trustees around her who can help with some of the other aspects of what we do. So basically, Hidden Help is there to recycle unwanted furniture and other white goods and give them to people in need in the community.
Fantastic. And you must have, obviously you've mentioned sort of the little bit of history there with Judy, because I was going to ask you, like, have you noticed that there is a real call for this kind of support, which obviously Judy must have noticed, hence why she started it? Yeah,
well, I think I first got involved because I do like going to the dump. I mean, you know, I confess, I take a lot of stuff there, and I've often, in years gone by, gone there and been, you know, heartbroken at some of the stuff that people have just dumped, whether it's a pristine white crockery or a perfectly good chest of drawers. So that's really why I got involved with Hidden Help, because when I saw there was a scheme that was tackling this perfectly. I mean, I had seen a similar scheme in St Blaise that works with St Austell dump, which, you know, is been really inspiring. But to see people just waste things that could be used again for someone else, that is really why I thought Hidden Help is well, you know, one of the best charities in Cornwall, because it has two purposes. It stops things going to landfill, and it really, really helps people in need in the community. So, to my mind, it was a really good charity to get involved with.
And in terms of the donation process of household goods and sort of redistributing them, what is the process or the steps taken?
Well, we have a very sort of lively Facebook page, so people would initially contact us through Facebook or have a phone number on our website. We do need a referral, and that could be anyone from the council to a housing association to a charity. So people do need to be referred, but normally that's a pain-free process. And then they will come to us and they'll tell us what they need. I mean, some people, obviously, we are kitting out an entire bare flat. You know, we're talking about no carpets. Carpet tiles are one of our most needed items. So we literally would go into a flat and totally, our before and after photos, which you can see on our website, are just quite astonishing what our team can do. And you're talking about sometimes a mother with children who are being asked to sleep on concrete floors. I mean, we can really turn a bare space into a home very quickly, and that's all to do with the generosity of other people in the community who've given away some of their stuff. So
that's so nice. And what would you say are like some of the goods that you mainly sort of collect? Do you focus, is it on mainly furniture?
It can be mainly furniture. I suppose we look at it that anything that makes a home. On our Facebook page, we do have a regularly updated list of what is actually needed. We have a warehouse in Bissau, which have recently expanded into another warehouse. So it's a lot of furniture, but also, as I've mentioned, crockery, matching sets of cutlery. We don't want people to just be given the dross. We want people to be given lovely stuff that they would feel proud of. So it can be anything, lamps, fridges, under counter fridges. We tend not to do washing machines only because they're quite difficult to manage. But if people follow us on Facebook, they can see our updated list. Likewise, they can join our mailing list and find out what it is we need. But we constantly get asked to do house clearances, that kind of thing. So the thing with the warehouse is that it gets empty and then we need it filled up very quickly, but it's a kind of it's a real ebb and flow. So it's working well.
Brilliant stuff. And obviously you mentioned your Facebook page there. You obviously put a list of things you need from there. What are the most common things that you hope that people are looking to donate?
I think recently we were looking for double bed bases. I think sometimes single beds for children. Bedding, I think on our list currently is a single bedding, double bedding. Then sometimes we might get a massive donation of something, so we don't need that anymore. But generally, our warehouse in Bissau is very well organised as a sort of treasure trove of what we can donate. But equally, if it gets depleted, then we would go back to the public again and ask. So if people keep an eye on our Facebook page, that's the best way to find out what it is we need.
Brilliant. And if anyone's watching who's got items that they think I would like to donate them, can they put pictures on your Facebook page, or is it best to go to your Bissau shop and?
Well, we get a lot of people contacting us through the Facebook page. Right. We do have a warehouse at Bissau, and Judy can often meet people there. But very excitingly, our latest project is at the recycling facility in Truro. So we've been working with Suez, who've been incredibly helpful. We've got a container there, and so people, if they're thinking of taking things to the dump, they can, and it can be used again. We now have a container solely dedicated to Hidden Help that they can put reusable goods into, and we will empty it out at regular intervals. So Cornwall Council have been incredibly helpful, as have the employees at Suez, because I think they're annoyed as anyone else when they see stuff at the dump just being chucked out that could be used again.
Yeah.
So we're really excited. It's a pilot project, but we're hoping that if it goes well, we can look at other dumps, recycling facilities close by. So we really want people to get into the habit, if they're thinking of taking something to the dump and it can be used again, I'll just put it in the container for Hidden Help. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible, because in Bissau isn't accessible for everyone, but a lot of people might go to recycling. So we're hoping that that's going to be a lot easier for people. Yeah,
and obviously the fact that you're now sort of branching out as well, that and providing different locations and things like that, obviously proves that the Bissau shop is in demand. It's obviously a success. Regarding the sort of distribution aspect of that, how does that work?
Well, we're very lucky to have some really dedicated volunteers, some of whom are our trustees, but who would literally go out in a van. I mean, we're quite often looking for van drivers, if anyone listening wanted to volunteer as a van driver. So they literally would get a call and they'd fill up the van and they'd do around, whether it's kind of in the Truro area or Redruth area or Camborne area. So that's how it works, and it all sort of works through a sort of central referral process. So we're literally, out on a van, most days. Yeah. So
Great, and you sort of touched on the referral process there. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that involves and like who's eligible for the donations?
Yeah, well, we help. Well, it's just anyone in need, really. So you could be fleeing domestic violence, you could be ex-homeless, you could be an ex-offender, you could be ex-armed services, anyone who's moving in somewhere. I mean, you know, we have 700 families in temporary accommodation in Cornwall at the moment. And a lot of these people are moving into places that don't have the basic requirements or just things that make somewhere a home. So it's just always worth contacting us, and as long as you can get a referral, which I have to say, I mean, I don't want people to think a referral sounds, you know, really kind of bureaucratic. It literally is just an email from someone who can say, yes, this person needs a bed or carpet tiles. So yeah, we do try and make it as pain-free as possible for people. We don't want people to have to jump through hoops just to get a carpet.
Of course, it's nice to hear that you sort of simplified it to make it as easy, because I was going to say, you know, anyone watching who thinks maybe I do need a little bit of support, I was going to say, how would they go about contacting you? But if you say all it takes is an email, a phone call or something like that.
Yeah, if they can get someone to be referred. I mean, obviously we don't want people to just go, hi, I want a microwave.
Of course.
Thanks. So that's why, you know, we have a referral for Charity Commission guidelines as well. So we want to make sure we're reaching people in need.
Yeah.
So, and of course we also have the vintage shop.
Right.
So we had a vintage fair last weekend, because when we do house clearances, when we get donations, some bits of just we can resell to support the charity. So at Bisso every Wednesday, when the weather's nice, we have a vintage shop. So, and every 6 months we have a vintage fair to raise funds. So that we're hoping, you know, we don't want to be a charity that constantly asks for money. We want to be able to support ourselves, and the vintage shop, hopefully we can develop that so it's open more often. It's currently only open on Wednesday mornings, but we hope that can be something that can support the charity one day.
Yeah, and obviously without going into too much detail for privacy reasons, what sort of success stories have you had? Like, I love hearing some sort of positive feedback. Is there any sort of stories that come to mind?
I think for me and for many, when you hear stories about mothers who literally have nothing and they're sleeping on a floor with their child, and then when you see the after photos of a small bed and carpet tiles. I mean, I do keep going on about carpet tiles, but only because we can't work with carpets, so carpet tiles is a very easy way.
Right.
If any of your listeners want to donate viewers want to donate carpet tiles, we'd be really, really grateful, because that's the number one thing that can really turn a cold, unforgiving place into a home. So I think when you see the before and after photos that you can see on our website, and testimonials of some of the people we've helped, we've helped people out of a really dark place to finally feel a bit safer. The other thing we often need is curtain rails, because some of the places we go into have no carpets and they have no curtains.
Right.
And obviously for many people who might be fleeing domestic violence, the one thing they want is security.
Yes.
So we're always looking for curtain poles and carpet tiles and curtains. So it's those kinds of things that people may not think about, but that they're really, really important for us.
Well, you heard it here first. Curtain poles and carpet tiles, that's what we need. And just, I know we've touched on it briefly, but just remind our viewers the drop-off points.
Yeah.
We've got one just over the road from here in Truro, Cornwall Council.
Yeah, it's just down the road, isn't it?
Yeah. Remind us where all your drop-off points are. Well,
we don't have to at the moment. So Bisso, the Primrose Workshops, that's where our warehouse is. So people can drop things off there. If you drop us a line on Facebook, Judy can often arrange to be there. But obviously the most convenient place is going to be at the Truro Household Waste and Recycling Facility, which I think is open 7 days a week now. So people can just go there and drop things off in the container. Occasionally if we can do house clearances, if people contact us and we're in the area, we can pick things up. So it's always worth getting in touch with us to find out what we can do, because there's quite often if we're on a van run, we might be able to pick things up in certain areas.
And obviously the people you support, I know we've touched on sort of domestic violence, and have you noticed an increase in demand of recent months and years? Obviously, I presume COVID as well could have had an effect on these numbers.
Well, I mean, you know, we've helped 4 people today have contacted us we've arranged to help 4 people just today. I mean, so far this year, there's 140 families that we've been able to help, which, you know, for me is quite a shocking state that there are 140 people who didn't have beds, carpet tiles, chest of drawers, an under-counter fridge. So it is worrying. We're seeing Ukrainian families come through now, of course. So it is a concern. And the numbers are certainly not going down. So yeah, it is difficult. But yeah, to have 4 people today just contact us is a sad state we're in.
Definitely. And obviously there's a lot in the news at the moment about the cost of living just in general that's affecting the majority of people quite hard. So are you guys sort of prepared and ready, as in, I presume your workload is going to increase?
I mean, you know, we're lucky to have got a second warehouse, because we are sadly going to see an increase in demand for our services, of people being made homeless and people having nowhere to go, people being moved around, or, you know, we're seeing an increase in, of course, we have a housing crisis in Cornwall at the moment, so it's very unstable and uncertain times for many families. So hopefully we can be there to help with the things that they can't find help elsewhere for. So it's it's going to be a difficult few months ahead.
And what do you see? Do you have any, are there any future goals for the charity, or where do you see Hidden Help in the future?
Yeah, I mean, Judy's got incredible plans. You know, as I touched on, we want to make it self-sufficient. I think Judy's very keen to one day get a bigger area and get a cafe going on. We'd like to do much more upcycling. If there are any volunteers out there who are good at upcycling, please get in touch, because that would be fantastic, because we've got so many projects that we can get people involved in. I know that Resource in Bodmin used to do a great upcycling project, but unfortunately that's closed now. So I think the long-term goal is to have something, on a bigger plot of land that can be have a cafe, have upcycling projects, have voluntary projects, and make it circular. So we are self-sufficient and we're reusing stuff that people don't want. That's the long-term vision. So we're getting there slowly.
I love that. I do. It's so good, and what you're doing is amazing. And I just want to sort of end on a positive note as well. I know you've already mentioned about the sort of the success stories and things that you've done in the past. Is there any items or any projects that you've been involved with that really sort of stand out, as in, oh, that was a real hidden gem, that we found that item, or someone donated this that really benefited someone?
Well, the thing is, I mean, our vintage, we had a vintage sale, and to be honest, a lot of the really good stuff went pretty quickly. And we do have some really good stuff. I am quite amazed what people are happy to donate. That, if people can go on our website and just see. For example, we've got a beautiful sort of butterfly chair that we've actually decided we're not going to sell for now. It's just exquisite, and it's just a donation from somebody. So there is a decision to be taken about what we sell and what we will recycle into someone's home. But if people are vintage lovers, and I've got a vintage shop myself, if people are vintage lovers, get yourself down to Bissau on Wednesday morning, because there's so many gems, just glassware, crockery, just all sorts of incredible stuff. So I can't recommend the shop more, and hopefully we will be able to see it open more often in the future.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And again, I just want to sort of reiterate, I know you've mentioned your Facebook page. I believe you guys are now also on Instagram, I'm being told.
Yeah,
which is great. Just remind our viewers one final time how they can contact you.
So hiddenhelp.org, contact us through our Facebook page. There is a phone number on our website, but I think our Facebook page is probably perhaps the easiest for people. and we'll get back to you within the day to if you want to donate, or if you want to, if you need something, then please get a referral and get in touch, or get in touch with us and we can help you get a referral, because we don't want to put any barriers in the way of anyone who really needs help. But have a look on our website page, see what we do, and if you've got anything to donate, get in touch. And yeah, carpet tiles and curtain poles. That's what I want to leave in your viewers' heads. Carpet tiles and curtain poles. That would be great.
I mean, that's the moral of the story today. We need carpet tiles, curtain poles, and volunteers as well. Volunteers must be so important to what you guys do.
Particularly van drivers.
Yeah.
But because it's so difficult to kind of, we don't necessarily go on certain days. So if you're a very flexible volunteer,
Right.
but that's really handy. But do get in touch if you're happy to drive a van, because that's something we're always looking for.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Sinead, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. And a huge thank you to obviously yourself and all the other hard workers at Hidden Help. I can imagine how crucial the support you provide is to others. And of course, if anyone would like any more information, follow Hidden Help online on their socials, as you said, or you can always contact Chaos and we can direct you towards them.
Or join our mailing list and we can regularly update you as to what's going on.
Or join the mailing list. There you go.